So, when I say Saudi Arabia, what comes to mind? There's probably two things, right? Vast, endless deserts and just immense oil wealth. But behind that dazzling image, there's a startling reality, a huge, fundamental paradox that the kingdom is now trying to solve with one of the most ambitious engineering projects in human history.
Think about it this way. What good is a palace made of solid gold if you've only got 2 sips of water to your name? That question, it absolutely nails the huge challenge Saudi Arabia is facing. I mean, a nation that is unimaginably rich in one resource, but desperately poor in the one that actually keeps you alive.
Okay, so to really get just how massive their solution is, you first have to understand the scale of their problem. And it all boils down to one simple, pretty shocking geographical fact.
0. Seriously. That's the number of natural permanent rivers in the largest country in the entire Middle East. We're talking about a nation where 98% of the land is scorching hot desert, and getting any rainfall is a pretty rare event.
So this is the central conflict, right here. On one hand, you have a kingdom that literally helps power the world with its oil. On the other, a nation that has always struggled to find enough water for its own people. For decades, they thought they had an answer, and it was hiding right beneath their feet.
For a long time, Saudi Arabia was getting by, tapping into this hidden, ancient resource buried deep down in the sand. But here's the thing. That solution basically started a terrifying countdown clock.
Yeah, this wasn't like a renewable spring that just fills back up with rain. No way. This was fossil water, trapped in deep aquifers for millennia. The best way to think of it is like a one-time inheritance from the planet's ancient past. Once it's gone, it is gone. It's not coming back for millions of years.
That's a perfect analogy, isn't it? And for decades, the kingdom was just draining this non-rechargeable battery at an alarming rate. And there was one particular national ambition that pushed that battery right to its absolute limit.
It all started back in the 1970s. Saudi Arabia wanted to be self-sufficient, so they decided to grow their own wheat in the desert. A noble goal, for sure, but it turned out to be catastrophic for their water supply. By 2003, farming was gulping down a staggering 85% of this precious fossil water. Then, by 2016, NASA satellites confirmed the devastating truth. Those underground reserves were just vanishing.
An incredible 85% of their entire water supply was going to this one project. Growing wheat in the desert literally drained their battery dry. The government had to halt the program and face this terrifying new reality. Their main water source was pretty much gone. So, what do? Well, you engineer the impossible.
Faced with this existential crisis, Saudi Arabia didn't just look for a new solution. They decided to build a whole new reality. A project so massive, it almost defies belief. 12,000 kilometers. That's the planned length of a network of underground pipelines. It's literally a man-made river designed to carry water across the entire country.
And just to put that number into perspective for you, this planned network is nearly twice the length of the Nile, the longest natural river on Earth. It's an absolute engineering marvel. But that leads to the crucial question, where is all this water going to come from?
The answer lies in the seas that border the kingdom, the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf. The plan is to take an essentially infinite resource, saltwater, and use some incredible technology to transform it into the most precious resource of all, fresh water.
The process is called desalination, and they do it 2 main ways. First is multi-stage flash. You can think of this as a giant, high-tech distillery. You heat the seawater into steam, which is pure H2O, and then condense it back into fresh water. The second method, reverse osmosis, uses immense pressure to force seawater through a special membrane that's so fine that only the tiny water molecules can pass through, leaving all the salt behind.
Now, this technology is a miracle, really. It provides a seemingly endless supply of fresh water. But, creating something from nothing often comes with a hidden cost. And in this case, the price is measured in actual mountains of salt.
Every single day, this network is designed to produce 9.4 billion liters of fresh water. That is an incredible, life-sustaining amount. But when you take the salt out of that much water, you're left with, well, all that salt.
That process creates 329,000 tons of a super-concentrated toxic salt waste that we call brine. And that's not per year or per month. That's every single day. It's a number so large it's kind of hard to comprehend. So let's try to put it another way.
Okay, imagine the largest animal that has ever lived on planet Earth. the blue whale. Now imagine over 1,600 of them. That is the weight of the toxic brine that gets pumped back into the sea daily. And, as you can probably guess, that has some really serious consequences.
Dumping this much hot, super salty brine back into the sea is just devastating for the marine ecosystems there. It raises the water temperatures, it dramatically increases how salty the water is, and it creates these dead zones where fragile coral reefs and all the life that depends on them simply cannot survive.
So, is this just a story of solving one crisis only to create another one? Well, not entirely. Just as Saudi Arabia is pioneering the technology to create water, it's also looking for some really innovative ways to handle the fallout.
Scientists are already hard at work on solutions. Instead of dumping the brine all in one spot, they're developing these deep-sea diffusers to help spread it out. But what's even more exciting is this idea of brine mining, figuring out how to extract valuable minerals like magnesium and potassium right from the waste. They could actually turn a pollutant into a resource. And then, of course, there's the energy cost. This artificial river doesn't just flow on its own. It has to be pumped uphill and over mountains. The pumping stations alone are projected to consume a massive 9% of the entire country's electricity. It's a staggering trade-off, trading immense energy for precious water.
And yet, here is the incredible turnaround. The country with 0 natural rivers, the one that nearly drained its ancient aquifers, is now set to host the World Water Forum. It's positioning itself not as a victim of geography, but as a global pioneer of water solutions. Ultimately, Saudi Arabia's artificial river is so much more than just a pipeline. It's a statement. It's a massive, high-stakes gamble on whether technology can truly overcome nature. And as the whole world starts to face growing water scarcity, this project out in the desert forces all of us to ask, is this the future? A future where we don't find water, we make